Well, holy smokes, everyone. We just saw the biggest single stock market crash in US history. Nvidia stock just crashed $600 billion today. This is the largest we've ever seen. But not just Nvidia, we're seeing the AI tech sector crash, just like what happened in the dot-com bubble. But what if I told you that the stock market is even more overvalued since the dot-com market crash, and we're about to see this sell-off get much worse? So what exactly caused this stock market crash? Well, it was simply a tiny startup in China called DeepSeek. And in today's video, I'll explain exactly who DeepSeek is, what they do, why it's such a huge deal for the US tech sector that has scammed American investors into believing that they need hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars from investors, from the US government in order to win, when this small Chinese startup did it for just a fraction of the cost of 6 million. But also, as I was recording this video, we got breaking news that this tiny Chinese startup that caused the biggest stock market crash for a single stock in history has just suffered a huge cyber attack. So everyone, you definitely need to pay attention what's going on in the markets right now, because what you may not even know, even if you think you're diversified investing in the S&P 500, really what you're doing is you're putting the majority of your money in these overinflated tech companies. So everyone, without further ado, let's get straight into news, the facts, and the data. Well, look at this, everyone. This was not clickbait. This is happening right now. Nvidia sheds almost 600 billion in market cap, the biggest one-day loss in US history. So that's right, Nvidia is the third largest stock on the US stock exchange when you look at market capitalization. So if Nvidia crashes, it's going to bring the whole Nasdaq down with it. So the sell was sparked by concerns that Chinese artificial intelligence lab DeepSeek is presenting increased competition in the global AI battle. In late December, DeepSeek unveiled a free open source large language model that it said would only take 2 months and less than 6 billion to build. Reduced capability chips from Nvidia called H800s. So to put it very simple, because I'm a simple man, what they're doing is seeing, okay, this is taking a lot of these companies $80, $100 billion to do this. We can just simply do it for a fraction of the cost, much cheaper, for just 6 million. Nvidia's graphic processing units, or GPUs, dominate the market for AI data centers in the US, with tech giants like Alphabet, Meta, and Amazon spending billions of dollars on the processors to train and run their AI models. So a lot of the big money on Wall Street is saying, hey, I think we may have been duped. Maybe these companies, or companies like Nvidia, they're about to have their revenue plummet because they're the ones that's selling pretty much what you could say the shovels for the gold rush. They're selling the chips for the AI gold rush. But if people don't need as many of these chips as they previously thought, well, then their revenue is going to fall and they're already so overvalued. So the sudden excitement about DeepSeek over the weekend pushed its app past OpenAI's ChatGPT as the most downloaded free app in the US on the Apple Store. Now, the model's development comes despite a slew of recent curbs on US chip exports to China. So make no mistake, everyone, we're in a technological war with the US and with China. And if the US loses, well, it could be checkmate. Because the tech sector over the past 10 years has been focusing on all the wrong things, not building tech. They've been focusing on DEI, they've been focusing on social justice, they've been focusing on their ESG scores. Meanwhile, China has been working hard behind the scenes, focusing on global technological dominance. So venture capitalist David Sachs, who was tapped by Trump to be the White House AI and crypto czar, wrote on X that DeepSeek's model shows that the AI race will be very competitive and that Trump was right to rescind President Joe Biden's executive order last week on AI safety. So that is a plus, that now Donald Trump is seeing how important this AI race is and is now trying to push the industry with the $500 billion investment in Stargate. But again, the US may be far outspending what they really need to spend and really need to focus more on innovation rather than just throwing money at it in GPUs. But again, let me prove to you that this couldn't happen at a worse time, because the US tech bubble is now far past the dot-com bubble and valuations couldn't be higher. Because look at this, everyone. This is the Nasdaq 100 PE ratio. We can see right now it is 37 at the levels we saw after 2008. But not just that, this is the US stock market compared to the rest of the world. How much is the US stock market compared to the rest of the world stock market? And we can see right now, US stocks have never been so expensive compared to the rest of the world at 1.5. And as I've showed you before, the Warren Buffett indicator, the US stock market has never been more overvalued relative to GDP. Right now, it sits at 208%, 67% higher than the long-term trend. And we can see here that the majority of the US stock market is invested in the top 10 US stocks, not much diversification at all. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been going down a rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole goes much deeper. And I found this report on what DeepSeek's impact on the stock market and your finances, because all your 401ks, all your superannuations are invested in these, whether you like it or not. And again, it's heavily concentrated in these top 10 US tech stocks. So let's dive into this report by Bloomberg. DeepSeek risk buy investors who clung to big tech dominance. We can see here positioning was already changing ahead of Monday as some investors routed out of big tech. Goldman's trading desk noted that the Magnificent Seven names were collectively net sold for a second straight week by both hedge funds and mutual funds. The net allocation now stands at 15.1% of total US net exposure versus a high record level of about 21% last seen in June. Now, potential repricing of downward risk into the crowded AI trade is seeing a substantial bout of volatility reintroduced, with the VIX index spiking the most since December. So for those that don't know what the VIX index pretty much means, it just pretty much means volatility and fear. When there's a lot of volatility in the market, that's when we see the VIX spike. The market jolt last month was caused by another narrative shift when investors dialed back expectations for the Federal Reserve to cut rates further. Now, investors looking for the next catalyst amid the market upheaval have a full week ahead of them. Major tech companies, including Microsoft Corp, Meta Platforms, are due to report earnings, and the Federal Reserve decision is due Wednesday. So what you have to know is, everyone, we're about to get earnings from the Magnificent Seven, which are the most impactful stocks. If their earnings don't come in good, and if we see the Federal Reserve come in more hawkish, meaning they say, look, we're not going to do as much interest rate cuts as we thought we were, the market is going to use this as an opportunity to cause a huge sell-off. And even Nvidia themselves has come out and admitted that DeepSeek is a huge advancement in AI. So Nvidia calls China's DeepSeek R1 model an excellent AI achievement. So again, to put it in simple terms, DeepSeek pretty much just does exactly what OpenAI does, but it does it for free and it's much cheaper to run. Not to mention that OpenAI became closed AI and China's DeepSeek is open source, meaning anyone can see the code. So analysts are now asking if multi-billion-dollar capital investment from companies like Microsoft, Google, and Meta for Nvidia's base AI infrastructure are being wasted when the same results can be achieved for far more cheaply. Earlier this month, Microsoft said it was spending $80 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025, while Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg last week said the social media company planned to invest $60 to $65 billion in capital expenditures in 2025 as part of its AI strategy. But again, as I was recording this video, maybe this is just a coincidence, but DeepSeek is suffering a major cyber attack. And who do you think is behind it? My thoughts, maybe these huge tech companies that are losing hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, which could lead into the trillions of dollars, may be behind it. So look at this. DeepSeek hit with large-scale cyber attacks says it's limiting registrations. So DeepSeek on Monday said it would temporarily limit users' registrations due to large-scale malicious attacks on its services. The Chinese AI startup recently toppled OpenAI's ChatGPT from its title of most downloaded free app in the Apple Store. So make no mistake, we're going to see huge technological warfare play out between the US and China. And just luckily, we have Donald Trump who's trying to put America first, but hopefully it's not too late. So I know what you're thinking, well, okay, what does all this mean in simple terms? Well, what this simply means is, like what we saw today with Nvidia shedding almost $600 billion in a single day, this could just be the beginning, and we could see trillions and trillions of dollars of wealth evaporated in just weeks. So again, to put it in simple terms, the current AI training model is trading large AI models that requires massive amounts of computer power, typically provided by powerful GPUs, graphic processing units, made by companies like Nvidia, which had a huge demand for Nvidia's high-end GPUs and in a surge in their stock price. But DeepSeek's innovation has seemingly found a way to train comparable AI models with significantly less computing power, and this suggests that the future of AI development might not rely as heavily on expensive high-end GPUs. Now, this will have a big impact on Nvidia's stock price. So if DeepSeek's approach becomes widely adopted, it could reduce the demand for Nvidia GPUs, potentially impacting their revenue and profitability, and this is what triggered the concern among investors and a subsequent drop in Nvidia's stock price. So essentially, DeepSeek's work raises a possibility that the current hardware demands of AI could be drastically reduced, potentially disrupting the market that Nvidia currently dominates. And this is why it caused such a big drop today. So everyone, what do you think about all of this? Let me know down below. Now, for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.